It didn't start with microchips, but with the smell of pine. Engineer Knut Fredrik Eidstam opened his first paper mill in southern Finland. At that time, paper was the primary medium for information, laying the foundation for a future communications empire. The business expanded. Eidstam built a second mill on the banks of the Nokia River. It was at this moment he decided to name his company after the river and the town, Nokia. Near the paper mill, Edward Poln founded Finnish Rubber Works. They manufactured galoshes and tires. Later, the fates of these factories would be intertwined forever. The third piece of the puzzle appeared. Finnish Cable Works. They began supplying cables for Finland's growing electricity and telegraph grids. The paper mill, the rubber factory, and the cable works entered a close alliance. It became a massive holding company producing everything from boots to wires. Inside the cable factory, a tiny electronics department was created. No one believed in its success, but this is where the first ideas for digital data transmission were born. The three companies officially merged into one. Nokia Corporation. It was now a giant with 5 divisions: rubber, cable, paper, chemicals, and electronics. Nokia released the DX200 switch, the brain for telephone networks. Simultaneously, they began making military radios and police communication devices. Nokia helped launch the NMT, Nordic Mobile Telephony, network. It was the world's first cellular system that allowed users to move between countries. The Mobira Senator was released. It was a car phone weighing 10 kilograms. It cost as much as a small car, but it was the first step toward freedom from wires. Nokia bought Salora and became the largest TV manufacturer in Scandinavia. At the time, they didn't know that TVs would nearly pull the company under. The world saw the Mobira Cityman 900. The weight dropped to 800 grams. It was a phone for the elite, a symbol of status and success. During a visit to Helsinki, Mikhail Gorbachev called Moscow using a Cityman 900. The photo of the USSR leader with a Nokia handset went viral worldwide. It was the best free advertising possible. CEO Kari Karamo committed suicide due to debt and stress. The company was in a dire financial state. Jorma Ollila became the head of the company. He saw the future in digital. He made a crazy decision: sell the profitable tire and TV businesses. Ollila bet everything on mobile phones and infrastructure. The world doubted him, but Nokia began building the first GSM network. The first mass-market digital GSM phone. It looked like the handsets we remember, and was capable of sending SMS. In an advertisement for the 2110 model, the Nokia tune was heard for the first time. The short clip of Francisco Trega's classical guitar became the most recognized sound in the world. Sales skyrocketed. Nokia overtook the American giant Motorola to officially become the #1 mobile phone manufacturer on the planet. The Nokia 9000 communicator appeared. Inside was an Intel processor and a full keyboard. It was the great-grandfather of all smartphones. The legend was released, the Nokia 3310. A durable body, exchangeable covers, and infinite battery life. The phone became a global hit for a decade. Engineer Taneli Armanto integrated the game Snake into the phones. Mobiles stopped being just tools, they became entertainment. The 7650 model brought a color screen and a built-in camera. At the same time, Nokia was aggressively developing Symbian OS for smart devices. The Nokia 7280, lipstick-shaped, and the N-Gage, phone console hybrid. Nokia was so wealthy and confident that it ventured into wild design choices. The billionth Nokia phone was sold in Nigeria, a budget 1100 model.
Only 20.
Nokia
It's in
owned the
perfect
minds
shape.
and wallets of
Okay,
people
let me see it.
worldwide.
You won't regret it.
Nokia's global market share reached an unbelievable 40%. Almost every second person had a finished device in their pocket. Steve Jobs stepped onto the stage and revealed the iPhone. In Nokia's headquarters in Espoo, the event was initially dismissed as a toy for the rich. Nokia continued to believe in buttons and styluses. Their first response to the iPhone, the Nokia 5800, was late and slow due to the aging Symbian system. Google released Android. Samsung and HTC quickly switched to the new system. Nokia stubbornly stuck with Symbian, which wasn't designed for finger-touch use. The company became too big. Decisions took months. Software developers fought with hardware engineers. The speed of innovation dropped to zero. Nokia hired Stephen Elop, the first non-Finnish CEO, formerly of Microsoft. The situation was already critical. Elop sent the famous memo. "We are standing on a burning oil platform. We must jump into the cold water." By water, he meant partnering with Microsoft. Nokia officially killed its Symbian and MeeGo systems. They signed an exclusive contract to use Windows Phone. Fans felt betrayed. Sales of old models crashed instantly, and the new Windows phones weren't ready. Nokia's stock value plummeted. The colorful Lumia 800 and 920 were released. They had great cameras, but the App Store was nearly empty. People chose Instagram and games on iPhone and Android. In the fall of 2013, it was announced Microsoft would buy Nokia's mobile business for $5.44 billion, a fraction of its peak value. The deal closed. At the farewell press conference, leadership famously said, "We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost." Employees wept. Nokia survived as a network equipment company. They bought rival Alcatel-Lucent and became a giant in 5G technology. Finnish company HMD Global bought the rights to the Nokia brand. The legend returned to the market, but this time powered by Android. The story of Nokia has come full circle. It is a technological leader again, but in the shadows, building the invisible networks that connect the world. The story of Nokia did not begin with microchips, but with the scent of pine. In 1865, engineer Knut Fredrik Idestam opened his first paper mill in southern Finland. At a time when paper was the world's primary information carrier, he unwittingly laid the foundation for a future communication empire. By 1871, as the business expanded, Idestam built a second mill on the banks of the Nokianverta River and decided to name his company after the river and the town, Nokia. As the century turned in 1898, a neighboring business called Finnish Rubberworks began manufacturing galoshes and tires. Decades later, the fates of these factories would intertwine forever. By 1912, the third piece of the puzzle appeared. Finnish Cable Works, which supplied cables for Finland's growing electricity and telegraph grids. In 1922, these three distinct companies, paper, rubber, and cables, entered a close alliance, forming a massive holding company. It wasn't until 1960 that a tiny electronics department was created inside the cable factory. No one believed in its success, but this was where the first ideas for digital data transmission were born. Finally, in 1967, the three entities officially merged into one. Nokia Corporation, a giant with divisions spanning from chemicals to electronics. By the 1970s, Nokia stepped into mobility by creating the DX200 switch, the brain for telephone networks, and building military radios. In 1981, Nokia helped launch the NMT network, the world's first cellular system allowing international roaming. This led to the 1982 release of the Mobira Senator, a car phone weighing 10 kilograms. Seeking further dominance, Nokia bought Salora in 1984, becoming Scandinavia's largest TV manufacturer, a move that nearly pulled the company under years later. In 1987, true portability arrived with the Mobira Cityman 900. Weighing only 800 grams, it became a symbol of status, especially after Mikhail Gorbachev was photographed using one in Helsinki. However, darkness hit in 1988 when CEO Kari Karamo committed suicide due to debt and stress, leaving the company in a financial crisis. In 1992, a new reformer named Jorma Ollila took the helm. He made the crazy decision to sell the profitable tire and TV businesses to bet everything on mobile phones. That same year, the Nokia 1011 was released as the first mass-market GSM phone. By 1993, the world heard the Nokia tune for the first time, a melody that would become the most recognized sound on Earth. By 1998, Nokia's gamble paid off as they overtook Motorola to become the No. 1 mobile manufacturer in the world. They pushed boundaries in 1996 with the 9000 communicator, the great-grandfather of smartphones, and in 2000 with the legendary Nokia 3310, famous for its indestructible build. They added entertainment in 1997 by integrating the game Snake, and in 2002, the 7650 model introduced color screens, cameras, and the Symbian OS. Confident and wealthy, Nokia experimented in 2003 with wild designs like the N-Gage and the lipstick-shaped 7280. By 2005, they sold their billionth phone in Nigeria. At their peak in 2007, Nokia controlled an unbelievable 40% of the global market. But on January 9, 2007, Steve Jobs revealed the iPhone. Nokia dismissed it as a toy for the rich. This arrogance led to a slow response. Their first touch flagship, the 5800, was late and clunky compared to iOS. In 2008, Google released Android, and while competitors like Samsung switched, Nokia stubbornly clung to the aging Symbian. By 2009, internal bureaucracy had killed innovation. In 2010, Nokia hired Stephen Elop from Microsoft to save the company. In 2011, Elop sent the famous Burning Platform memo, announcing that Nokia would abandon its own software for Windows Phone. The result was a sales collapse. Fans felt betrayed, and the Lumia line released in 2012 failed to attract developers to its empty app store. By 2013, the inevitable happened. Microsoft bought Nokia's mobile business for a mere $5.44 billion. The deal closed in 2014, and as the Nokia logo was replaced by Microsoft Lumia, employees wept at the end of an era. Yet, the company survived. By 2015, Nokia pivoted back to infrastructure, buying Alcatel-Lucent to become a giant in 5G. In 2016, the brand returned to the consumer market through a licensing deal with HMD Global. Today, the story has come full circle. Nokia is once again a leader, but in the shadows, building the invisible networks that connect the world. Conclusion. The fall of Nokia is the ultimate parable of change. It reminds us that no matter how big you are today, if you stop innovating and stop listening to the world, you can be gone tomorrow. Nokia didn't do anything wrong, they just did the right things for too long while the world moved on.